Answers. 1 through 14. So we'll go back to these questions on page 191. Why did cavemen show their palms whenever they met? I'm not sure we can really agree with this because we can't go back and ask them. But it's to show their hands are empty, they're not holding any weapons, or at least they're not balling into a fist ready to attack you. It's a sign of saying, I'm safe. What is the purpose of the handshake today? Social greeting. What part of the hands touch when shaking hands? What kind of a stupid question is this? Your palms and fingers, obviously. When is it socially acceptable to shake hands? When you're greeting somebody or when you're closing contact. So you'd normally shake hands when you meet somebody, especially for the first time, and you do it again when you left, if you are still friendly, on friendly terms. List 3 attitudes that would be conveyed through a handshake: submission, dominance, equality. Easily enough. What kind of impression is given if someone initiates a handshake with the palm up? Submission. They're offering you a submissive handshake. They're showing you that they are ready to be dominated, ready to be controlled. Why do some people give a limp handshake? Nervousness or awkwardness. Explain what these words means. Relic means something left over from a long time ago. You could argue that I'm a relic. You wouldn't want to. Concealed is hidden. Modified is adjusted in some way. A ritual is something that's done often but without thinking about it. Initial is the first. Submissive is allowing other people to be in control. Mitigating is circumstances that might change the situation. So a reason to double think something, to think about something again. Aggressive is dominant. I know some people have likened it to violent. Maybe if in the exam there was a question that said aggressive is like violent. Not necessarily. It's a dominant gesture. Animals can be aggressive to one another without ever hurting one another. Aggression is usually social dominance. Vice-like. Well, a vice is a mechanical device for holding something tight. So we're talking about a tight grip. And then we continue on to number 9. When should you not initiate a handshake? If you are not welcome. If you are not the person that's entering into a pre-arranged meeting, or if you're pushing your way in, you wouldn't see the police come around to arrest you and initiate a handshake. You're not welcome, okay? Number 10, what is the positive intention of the glove handshake? To show emotional closeness or trustworthiness. Describe the following types of handshake. A glove handshake is when we have a normal handshake and then we add an extra hand round it as if you were wearing a glove. So it's adding an extra hand to the handshake. A dead fish handshake is a limp, dead, cold, wet handshake, a clammy handshake. Someone from a very nervous person. A knuckle grinder is a very tight handshake where someone's trying to show strength. Fingertip grab is a weak handshake or a feminine handshake. An awkward handshake. Do women shake hands in the same way as men do? Traditionally, no. Women would tend to go for the fingertip handshake. Not necessarily through weakness, but maybe through physical weakness. A woman is not as strong as a man, and they don't shake hands on equal terms. So a fingertip handshake is a way of protecting them from the dominant power of a masculine grab. 14, handshakes tend to be used in formal situations. What modern forms of informal handshakes are now used between friends? Well, lots of them. High fives, slapping one another. Motorcyclists do it where we just grab each other's thumbs. Can't really do it with that. You see a lot of people slapping hands like that. Since the whole COVID thing, people are shaking hands less, so people are now nodding instead of shaking hands at all. Elbow, I've seen that quite a lot, where especially if you've got drinks or you're carrying something, people will touch elbows. What else? Fist bump is also getting quite common. So there are lots of different variations which have come from, and you can see why, modern needs. You know, you wouldn't normally meet somebody in a meeting if you without coffees in your hand, but that's become normal now. So we've got the elbow bump, we've got the fist bump. Another one between criminals is the flat hand press, and that's come from in America where prisons have glass walls and you talk to them on a phone. You've probably seen it in movies. So pressing your hand against the glass is a form of greeting. And I've seen that represented in movies where people greet by pressing their hands flat. It's a way of saying, like, I understand your situation. So social needs drive changes in gestures. So there's lots of informal or formal and informal handshakes now being used between friends. Okay, so they're the answers. I hope you got most of them. Make sure you've done the quiz, because the quiz isn't just a quiz this time, it's making sure that you're ready for the exam. Make sure you do them, make sure you remember them.